So are there any Goonie fans out there? Yeah, that 1985 movie about a bunch of misfit kids looking for pirates' treasure so they can save the day. Well, I don't know about you, but one of my favorite parts of the movie, where it becomes magical, is when they find that map and the compass-like device. The music changes, something shifts in the feeling, and all of a sudden we realize this story is about to become magical. And straight up, gents, I've always loved this concept of maps, compasses, and magical items that could show you the way. And so no surprise, The Legend of Zelda, one of my favorite NES games, and movie items like the Marauder's map. I mean, it sure would make life a lot easier if there was a simple guide we could follow. If we had a device that could always show us the way. Well, a few years back, I was watching a video from a virtual mentor of mine, Brian Johns. He wrote one of my favorite compilations of wisdom, Arete, and he's honestly, in my opinion, doing some great work when it comes to modern, practical, approachable philosophy. In any case, in one of his videos, he showed a prototype of a compass that he was playing around with that instead of having direction, it had values. Core values that he had extrapolated from decades of research that covered everything from modern business text to ancient Stoic philosophy. Now, I ended up recreating it, making it mine, and actually created my own printable copy, which I put right here in his book. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you each of these 8 values so you can use them to become the man you know yourself to be. Now, before I get into this, I do want to warn you that, yeah, I'm going to lay out a lot of information, but information isn't transformation. And what I mean by that is most men just sit back and passively take in information. They never act on it. And it's really sad if you think about it. You know what to do, but you never do anything with that knowledge. And I get it. You're busy. Life gets in the way. But the reality is, gents, if you want to reach your full potential, you've got to show up. You've got to do the work. You've got to take the action. And so to help you do this, I created a program that I wish I would have found years ago. It's called Health, Wealth, Purpose, and this is a private community of high-achieving men, like-minded warriors that are pushing themselves to become their best versions of themselves. Most of these guys in their group, at least from the outside, seem to have already achieved success. They're airline pilots, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're successful business owners. But the problem they face is that they know they are capable of more. They know in the 3 core areas of their life, their health, their wealth, their purpose, they can go further. And again, from the outside, these guys look like they have it all. In fact, their family, their friends are saying, why are you still pushing yourself? You're 55, take your foot off the gas. You've already achieved so much, why don't you go easier? And the hardest part is the people saying this are the people that are closest, the ones that love you the most. But here's the deal, you know it's not about the money, you know it's not about the score. It's simply trying to figure out, wanting to know, what am I actually capable of? Well, over at HWP, we're focused on helping you achieve your full potential. So if you're a high achiever who knows he's capable of more, well, guys, check out what we're doing. The link is in the description. So let's start off at the top of the compass, wisdom. A wise man knows the game he's playing and how to play it well. Now, since I was a kid, I have always loved the idea of wisdom. In fact, when I graduated high school, this was a book that I took with me to college. I've read this book probably 100 times. And as the name implies, timeless wisdom, this is about the information that every man, every woman needs to know because it never goes old. It will be applicable today. It's applicable 100 years from now. Now, when I think about wisdom, I think of it as being able to play the game of life, to understand what game you're playing and to understand how to play it, knowing what your goal is. It's not the same as having information. It's not the same as being smart, as knowledge. No, wisdom is deeper than knowledge in that it's that information, it's that understanding that actually comes from living, reflecting, and getting the feedback from life. Wisdom isn't something necessarily you get from a book. It's something that you experience. It's something that you go through. It's a deep form of knowledge that often comes in the form of pain, suffering, and hopefully some joy. I always love that quote that wisdom is earned through action, but corrected through humility. Next up, let's talk gratitude. When you start each day thankful for what you already have, your health, your freedom, your family, you stop chasing validation. I personally find that the practice of gratitude is one of the easiest ways to reset yourself whenever you're having a bad day, whenever you are frustrated, whenever things aren't going the way you would like. Simply taking a step back and looking at what you do have. In my case, a beautiful, loving wife, 5 healthy children, 2 healthy nephews, a warm home, plenty of food, my health, my freedom, a somewhat, intelligent mind. Gents, whenever I do that, even if I'm having a tough day, even if I'm just frustrated with the way my business is going, maybe we're not hitting the financial goals I set and I want us to achieve. Gents, whenever I remind myself of that, it doesn't matter how bad my day is going. All of a sudden, I go from a mindset of frustration, scarcity, to one of strength and thankfulness for what I truly do have. And I get it, not all of us have all the things I just mentioned, but it's safe to say you probably have some of those. And in many cases, a lot of you guys have things I don't have that you should be very grateful for. I mean, I drive a freaking minivan, which I gotta be honest, they are a great deal. They have a low center of gravity. They're actually relatively quick off the line. And I can fit 8 people comfortably into my Honda Odyssey. But seriously, I do miss my motorcycle. I'm grateful I've got a truck. But seriously, every single one of you guys have something. You're 18 years old. You don't have a penny to your name, but you know what? You've got time. You've got your strength. You've got your health. You may have just gone through a divorce, but you know what? You've still got some great friends, and you've got a sharp mind that within a couple years, you can put yourself in a much stronger position. I'll tell you, gents, in an age of narcissism and endless scrolling on social media, to be able to say, I have enough, that I am grateful for what I have, boom, that right there, gents, is an act of rebellion. It is an act of power. Next up, we've got love. And in the case of this compass here, I'm going to define love as being present, as being kind, as being generous. So first up, presence. In a world of distraction, for you to actually show up, for you to give your full attention to others, your partner, your kids, your colleagues, I view that as a form of love. Giving of yourself, giving your most important thing, your time. Love is kindness, not being nice. And you guys know the difference. Nice is where you're trying to get something from it. Kindness is where you're in a position of strength and you're able to give, again, of your time, maybe give your resources, and this is where generosity is. Yes, you make more. You are a strong man, contributing to society and building up your wealth. Well, as a form of love to your fellow human beings, you give to others. You pay for that struggling guy or gal's meal. You find ways to give back, to be generous with both your resources and your effort. So really quick, how does this compass work? Well, do you remember in Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow's compass, also known as Tia Dalma's compass? Well, the way that device worked is whatever your heart truly desired, the compass would show you the direction to get there. Well, in this case, as you're navigating through life and trying to make decisions, and if you've got to make a tough one, then you look to this compass and you ask yourself, am I making this decision based off of my values? Or am I making it based off convenience? Now, straight up, gents, I'll tell you, I have made some decisions, unfortunately, based off of convenience. Yeah, I ended up taking a shortcut, making a decision not based on my values, but based off of what I could get from the situation. And armed with the compass we're talking about today, hopefully you're able to use this to make value-based decisions that lead you in the direction you want to go to live your best life. The next point on the compass, curiosity. I see what's working and what needs work. Let's face it, guys. If life is the same thing again and again, it can get monotonous. Some people like that, but if you're like most men, you want something new. You want to change it up. And there's nothing wrong with being curious and using that to your advantage to go out there and to try new things, to push yourself. Curiosity at its core is the spark that drives learning, reinvention, reimagining things. Curiosity is innovation. It's improvement. If you think about it, it's staying young. It's realizing that you're never too old to reinvent yourself, to go out there and try something new or try something for the first time. Every man fights 2 wars, the outer one against chaos and the inner one against his weaker impulses. Next up, we've got self-mastery. This is discipline. This is the one that, the thing with self-mastery, this isn't getting frustrated with others because they're not living up to where you think they need to be. This is about the self. This is about you taking the time to reflect on, are you putting in your best effort? Did you do the work? Did you take accountability? Because so many of us, me included, we're kind of control freaks at times. But self-mastery, guys, it is about the control of the inner individual. As a wise man once said, before you go out there and try to change the world, first, change yourself. Zest is disciplined enthusiasm. So let's talk about zest. In this case, I'm defining it as being energized, practicing the fundamentals. You've probably heard people talk about how attitude is everything. I don't think it's everything, because you can have a great attitude but still be lost, and you're still lost. But I will tell you, being positive is appreciated, especially day in, day out. And it's so much better than the opposite, being a Debbie Downer, being that person that is an energy vampire. In fact, looking back, I remember some of the worst points in Marine Corps training. How were they overcome? Because one or two Marines would all of a sudden just start, yelling, getting excited, asking for it to suck more. Yeah, seriously, some of these guys were psychos, but it was crazy. Like, people were fighting over who gets to be the first one to break the ice on the water and just dive in. People wanted to show each other that they were harder, and they're like just yelping, yep, yep, yep. These guys are all barking. Yes, that's a thing in the Marine Corps, and they're just wanting to be hardcore because they realize for the rest of us, it's like, all right, we started getting energized and we followed suit. Now understand, gents, I'm not saying to just start barking in the office. You may scare a few people and have HR come visit you. But what I am saying, bring energy to the situation, because the lack of energy, that's death. And so we don't want to go there. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in spite of it. So I love that definition of courage, because a lot of people think that courage is being a fearless leader, not being scared of anything. No, those type of people, those are psychopaths. Human beings, men like us, guys, we are scared of certain things, but courage is having that fear, being able to compartmentalize it and realize, if I don't take action, the fear of regret, the fear of letting people down, no, I'm not going to live with that. I'm going to take action despite the fear, despite not knowing what the outcome may be, despite not having all the information. That is courage. Being man enough to admit that you were wrong whenever you make a mistake. That requires courage, because a lot of people think it's going to make them look weak, and to some it may, but I know two men like me, somebody that can change their mind when new facts present themselves, or to realize that they made a mistake. Yeah, I know that's the type of leader I would want to follow. And now I want to talk about perhaps the most underrated value on this compass, but one I think is one of the most powerful, and without it, you really can't have the other ones, and that is hope. And to show just how powerful this one is, imagine if you have no hope. You are hopeless. Well, in that case, those people, they give up. They give up on their dreams. They give up on life. No, you don't want to fall there. And hope, a lot of people think, oh, that's naive. That's just to believe that it's going to get better. There's no proof. You could be right or you could be wrong. But I know from my experience, I have a lot of power. I don't have power and control over everything, but I have control over some things. And knowing that gives me the hope that I can change my situation for the better. In fact, if somebody has done it, you should have hope and you should believe in yourself that you can do it as well. If there are people out there that have started $1 million businesses in a period of 30 days, I'm not saying you're going to do it, but you should have hope. You should believe that a human being did this. So in theory, I am capable of this. I have a good friend that never gave up on love. He had hope. And on his third marriage, boom, he hit the jackpot. He had to go through two, and they were pretty rough divorces. But now he's got a beautiful daughter. He's got 2 stepsons. And the guy for the last decade has been living an amazing life, the best life, because he didn't give up. He didn't lose hope. And I see so many guys out there that have lost hope when it comes to relationships, have lost hope when it comes to industry, wealth building. Gents, don't give up. You are meant to watch this video for a reason. You have the power, you have the ability, and you have a little bit of time to go out there and make things happen. And speaking of making things happen, guys, remember, go check out Health, Wealth, Purpose. I'm putting a link to that coaching program down in the description of today's video. This is my passion project. I would love to see you fill out an application because I am making sure we only let in the right individuals, kind of like the Marine Corps. We're looking for a few good men. But seriously, guys, if you are in your 40s, 50s, if you are looking to live to your full potential, if you've had success in some areas, but you know you're capable of more, go check out what we're doing. I'll link to HWP down in the description of today's video. And with that being said, gents, come on, I got you covered. If you want to go watch another video, but come on, don't watch too many of these. Take action. But yeah, if you're going to go watch another video, this one is going to be worth your time. It's a solid one. Yeah, go check it out.